Now that we're ready to install the floor, we know what corner we're going to start from. It's going to be left or right off of this corner. We're also going to make sure that when we're installing the flooring, that we're going to make sure that the floor is at least a 1/4 inch off the wall, and that the joints are staggered more than 12 inches apart. That means that the end joints have to be 12 inches apart from other joints. So keep that in mind. The very first thing I like to do before I start, instead of just putting the pieces together and laying the flooring down, what I like to do is just take a plank and score it. Make 3 even scores. You don't have to measure, you don't have to be precise, and make 3 scrap pieces to work with. I'm going to show you what we're going to use these scrap pieces for. And I would do maybe a few more pieces like that. And the reason for that is we're going to use this to start our first run. Alright, so we're ready to install the first run. And typically you would have this against the wall, which I'm not doing. I'm having it away from the wall, and this is the reason why. I want to ensure when I connect these 2 first pieces together that the alignment is just perfect. If they're off by a hair, as you go down the run, it will be off-centered and very difficult to install. So what I've done is I've taken the scrap piece and ensured that the tongue, which is the longer end, is facing towards you. The tongue on the second piece is facing towards you. And the first piece, the tongue is facing towards you. The male is all facing towards the wall. And what you want to do is take the first piece and click it into the scrap piece. The scrap piece is more for a guide to create you a straight line to connect the second piece. You take the second piece and you run it along the straight line. Before you're ready to tap, you ensure that this is all lined up and straight. Then you take the piece and you tap it. Now you know that the front is aligned 100%. And you want to do this all the way down to the very end with these scrap pieces. When everything is aligned, then we will take the scrap piece out and we'll place it on the front side, and we will then move the whole thing towards the wall 1/4 inch off the baseboard. So I am at my starting point. I just finished tapping these 2 pieces together using a scrap piece to guide the end joints together. We're going to do this all the way down the run and create the first run doing exactly the same thing. Go ahead and click that back piece on. Use this as a guide. Line it up. Make sure everything's lined up perfectly straight. Tap it together. Now I know my front joints are all lined up and squared off. Now what we want to do is take this front piece with the back piece and ensure it goes onto the front side. Now that this piece is all stable and joined, you can move this whole entire row forward 1/4 inch off the wall. And you can take a measuring tape and measure to ensure that this is 1/4 inch off. Now that you have a straight line, you can just take these pieces off and you are set to go with your first run. Now that we've got our first row lined up 1/4 inch off the wall, we're ready for the second row. Now we want to stagger the joints, and remember, when we stagger the joints have to be 12 inches apart. Even the very first piece off the wall has to be 12 inches off the wall. Minimum of 12 inches. So I got to take measure here. We're going to just do 16 inches on this. And the way you measure is you measure from the tongue, because you know the tongue is going to be on the right-hand side, and the cut piece is going to be against the wall. So we're going to do about 16 inches, about somewhere around here. It doesn't have to be exact, because we're going to stagger the joints anyways. And this is simply a simple score, and then a break. Tongue, tongue towards you, the cut piece to the left, and we're going to go to the other end and install it. All right, so I'm at the other end installing the first piece that's approximately 16 inches long. We're going to go ahead and engage it in place. And then we're going to go ahead and line up the rest of the planks and look at the planks to make sure that the cores are matched up with each other. And we're just going to lay it right in place, and then we're going to go right down and start installing. Okay, I went ahead and just laid my planks to ensure that the cores are all matched and it's a random look. We've already installed the first piece, and I laid out the other piece just to make things easier, where I don't have to keep getting up and down. So they're all ready to go. We're just going to align it into place, ensure that this is lined up straight. Tap it, you're into place. And the last piece we had to cut to even it out to the end of the wall here. And voila. Now, after you've completed the floor, you just make sure that the joints are staggered, and make sure when you're putting your quarter round down to cover your gap, that the quarter round is nailed into the base molding and not to the flooring itself, because you want the flooring to go underneath that quarter round and be able to move just a little bit without being constricted. And there you go.